The game went down in China, causing some frustration. We've got Hulkbuster beta starting today, get in, and Baron's War issue compensation packages may be on the way. Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Monday. We've got such a spicy edition. Actually, it's more spicier than a chicken chettinad from Tamil Nadu. Obviously, if you're from India, you may get that reference. If you're from anywhere in the world, you won't. It's just spicy. It's just really spicy. And one of those spicy topics will be some little snippets of information from yesterday's podcast. By the way, the podcast is out. We'll be talking about it in a moment, but I've got time codes. Yes, time codes. As a lot of people have asked of it, I have now put it in. But before we get into Marvel Contest of Champions news, as I'm doing my Randy Orton, that's not a very good Randy Orton pose, whatever. Yes, WrestleMania was yesterday, but I want to give a massive thank you to my current Patreons, YouTube members, and Twitch subs. If you do have an Amazon Prime account and want to give a free Twitch sub, you can do. It doesn't have to be to me as a streamer, but it really does help out myself and the channel if you could do that. Obviously, helps pay those bills in these troubled times. So massive thanks to everybody for their support, and as well you can help for free by just hitting the like button, subscribing with post notifications on, and get involved with the comment section down below. And what the heck are we gonna do now? That's right, we're gonna get into the news. Let's do it. The news kicks off with a reminder about what's happening this week. So first of all, we've got the Hulkbuster beta, but as well, we've got Incursions dropping. Kicking off with Incursions. Obviously, a lot of you will see there's things like invites, and there's kind of Incursions chat and stuff. And when you're inviting someone, it's a case you're there in a room randomly with somebody. As Hawkjock explains here, you're not able to do anything. You can't get into an incursion yet. And also, and as mentioned, the Hulkbuster beta goes live in a matter of hours. Later on today, you'll see this for the very first time, and I think a lot of players are going to be really excited. I haven't seen it, but obviously, let's face it, when a champion's been reworked, and if Colossus, Venom, and a couple of others are anything to go by, it is going to be really exciting. So I really cannot wait for Hulkbuster's beta later on. Obviously, I'll be doing a video and then maybe a live stream later on as well. Also, in other news, the Contest Round podcast episode 11 is out. Now, this was a very special edition because we had our first ever Kabam guest. Obviously, it's not going to be so easy for us to get these guests, and we really want to do them in order to find out more about the game, and as well that I don't come across that I'm looking to ruffle Jimmy's. But I was on my best behavior, and as well we had a lot of questions and answers. If you watch on YouTube, you'll know that there are pre-approved questions and obviously information on timestamps that you can go to gather certain information, like the incursions data of how many shards and dark artifacts you get from doing X, Y, and Z in the different zones. Also, there is information about what Kabam were planning with maybe an additional lockdown reward system or calendar thing. And as well, just general the game economy and how all that works with Kabam, even talking about the idea of a budget in the way that they decide on the extent of how many shards they give you, or how many tier 5 basics they give you, or like lower progression rewards as well. It's a very interesting podcast. As I said, links are in the description as well on the YouTube. There are some timestamps. Next up, and the game went down. Yes, the game went down. Oh, did it? Well, it did, but only for those that play in China. Well, as soon as people started mentioning about something, Kabam Mike did point out, in solidarity with Chinese National Mourning Observance taking place Sunday, April 4th, we'll be temporarily shutting down Marvel Contest of Champions in China, April 4th to midnight to 11:59 I want to say that's Chinese something time. It's not really, I'm not really up with a lot of these different kind of time zones, but it meant the game was down for a day. Let's go with that. Now, I will assume a lot of the responses came from Chinese nationals about this, and there were some very good points, but at the same time, obviously, when there's a national solidarity of respect for something, you kind of think that everybody would be in the same boat. But it doesn't look like that is the case. Yes, it would really kind of mess you around for Alliance Quest and Alliance Wars. And yes, it means that your progression for that day has been just put down to nothing. Now, it's a bit difficult to say that everybody that has a game out in China or is a Chinese developer is deciding to stop action for one day, obviously to come in line with this day of mourning. But the fact is, there are some games that have done and affected the Western side of things. So I actually play PUBG Mobile, so PlayerUnknown Battleground mobile version. And the fact is, because Tencent are a developer that obviously I believe is a Chinese developer, they have decided that they were going to like stop it for an entire day. So that again affects a lot of players regardless of where you are in the world, but obviously there's solidarity in that mark of respect. So obviously Kabam want to observe that, and quite good that they've decided, okay, well, we'll just do that side. We're not going to affect the rest, which obviously Tencent have done with a lot of their titles. And I must apologize, but this is translated from Chinese or Mandarin to English. In order to express the deep condolences for the sacrifice of martyrs and deceased compatriots in the fight against the new crown pneumonia epidemic, in response to the State Council decisions hold a national mourning event on April 4th, 2020 will be temporarily closed on the April. Basically, the game's going to be down. The game service is going to be down. So obviously, when you log in, your data won't be affected. We call on the majority of players to stop all public entertainment activities during the day of mourning and to express their deep sorrow and condolences to the medical staff and compatriots who died in the epidemic. My final thoughts on this situation is I hope there was sufficient information. It doesn't seem like Kabam sent an in-game message, which probably would have been a better thing. So maybe that's not good from their perspective. But what they wanted to do is obviously, and what seems by that forum message is that they wanted to show solidarity, as they said, and as well kind of urge people to show that level of respect and kind of stop entertainment for the day, or kind of gaming entertainment, rather than saying all games are doing this, because obviously not all games did, but they urged the public to show that level of respect and understanding. It's not my place to get involved with other countries in the way that they do their level of respect for situations like this and mourning in general, but at the same time, yeah, I do think developers should have an element of communication. Yes, there was a forum post, but if there wasn't an in-game message, then I just don't think that should be a thing. And as well, the process, like I don't know if this was like a very spur of the moment in China. And again, I just reiterate, I'm not here to get involved with the way that other countries do things. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Kabam were kind of in the wrong for doing something like this? Do you think that this was perfectly acceptable? Or do you just think, wow, they only affected some people so they can just get on with what they do in their country? What are your thoughts? Comment section down below. Next up, we've got an update on the Barons War situation. So as you know, to fill you in, if you didn't see Friday's edition of Marvel Contest Champions News, we went over a problem, a really severe problem, where players were not able to access in-game stuff. And as well, it was getting to them to that choose a side screen, and they weren't able to choose a side, basically meaning that they couldn't get in, and it was affecting a lot of people, and as well affecting alliance-based participation, largely resulting in players, losing alliance quest chances to get exploration in some respects, and as well alliance wars if they were in alliance wars. Thank God we weren't in a season, and as well just general day-to-day progression, which just halted. For a lot of players, this is what you saw, and as well when you tried to switch sides, which was the advice, it was not working. So the first bit of advice was going, okay, so you chose one side, well, try choosing the other side and seeing what happens, and obviously confirming, but nothing was happening. On the day that I post Marvel Contest Champions News, later on, Kabam Exhibit said we've pushed a fix that should resolve the infinite loading / crashing issue. If you have not done so already, please restart your game. If you're still experiencing issues, you can let us know and we can update the team. Unfortunately, it did not work, with a lot of players still incredibly frustrated after even doing the restart, not able to choose a side. But again, as you can see here, the issue is still there, even at a point of restarting the game. It was ridiculous. And unfortunately, I had to go back to the game team to be sorted yet again. In any case, it was tried again and it seemed to work. Maybe there was a bit of a time delay between stuff being updated. But as the player says here, guys, try it again. I just got in after 3 days. With Zibit acknowledging that, saying just to confirm for everyone, we pushed out another fix that should be implementing for those who were still getting stuck. If you have not done so already, I recommend closing and restarting the app to make it get its implemented completely. And now this forum thread is closed. And the biggest takeaway is that the following is going to happen at some point. So So Kabam says, hey there everyone, we aren't able to send out universal compensation packages to everyone who has experienced this issue, as the factors that went into play with this issue make it difficult to determine who was affected in what way. We are continuing to explore the situation and have not decided on our actions at this time. We'll let you know if there is a new solution in the future. As the issue itself has been resolved, this thread will be closed. Now, obviously, here's the tea on this issue. Now, yes, it has affected some people. Yes, I do feel personally they should be compensated for what has gone on. 3 days without being able to log in, based on this affecting only a small amount of people, is a real frustration. Now, how they are able to do the analytical data is another thing, and it looks like Kabam aren't able to pinpoint those people. You know, if you said, hello, I'm a person affected, but I wasn't, then therefore you'd be out to get compensation. So therefore, what does Kabam do in this situation? And I would probably say, the only thing, if they're unable to get the analytical data and unable to kind of like separate those out to compensate them adequately for this, is just give out something as an extra to the community, as just a thing. Maybe it's a case that they can do this if they look hard enough to find the analytical data to pinpoint these people. It's a difficult one, but I just want to make it a point to say that I do believe that these people being affected with 3 days away from the game, affecting Alliance Quest, Alliance Wars, and so many other things with progression, should be adequately compensated for what went on. And I'll be following this story to see what's going on. And now on to the final story, which is arena predictions. Now, obviously, results-wise, that's something we've got to go over. But obviously, based on predictions of last week, which were a little bit overkill, but the difficulty is, grind. Are you grinding more extensively? And it seems like this week has been a lot lower, and maybe it's going to be a case it changes with the new champions that are coming in this month. So for predictions wise, I'm going with 35 mil for Venom the Duck, 2.2 mil for Elsa Bloodstone, and the 4-star version of Venom the Duck, I'm doing it 6.2 mil, which goes in line with the following. This player did 2.1 mil for Elsa Bloodstone, and it seems to be that the champion actually went kind of close to about like 2 mil flat, but I think it's got to be a case we just bump it up just a little bit just for safety purposes. Dams did a 107 position for his 5-star Venom the Duck with 35 mil, and I think 35 mil being the prediction actually seems to be relatively fair. With HB of Shooter, weird name, has got 638 position with 6.2 mil. So again, I think that's fair based on the predictions for round 2. There we have it. That has been Marvel Contest of Champions news for Monday. Check out some fresh content over here. Check out some supporting links down here. I may be live streaming this on Twitch when I'm doing the edit, so maybe see you there. Hulkbuster beta tonight, and tomorrow me and Em may be doing a crystal opening. So yeah, lots of fun things going this week. Bye bye for now.